Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to learn about the letter I. Now, I makes two sounds. It makes the I sound like ice, and it makes the I sound like igloo. So I, ice, I, igloo. Two sounds for letter I. All right, does anybody's name start with letter I? Your name could be Isabella. It could be Ivy, it could be Iris, or Isaac, or Ian. Those are some of the names that start with letter I. All right, and here is our letter I book. Remember your job to listen for all the I words in the book. When the story is over, I'll ask and see how many you remember. The title of our I story is Me, Myself, and I. And the letter I is also a word. I can be for ice cream cone and ice skates on my shelf, but the most important I is the name I call myself. So let's look for our I words. We have ice cream, we have ice skates, we have important, and we have this little word is, and I. The letter, that's a word. Even as a baby, an infant, oh so small, I was learning all the time. I felt like 10 feet tall. So we have the word infant, which is another word for baby, and the word I. Now I'm near incredible. My mommy thinks so too. I can write my name in ink and count to 42. So we have the word I, we have the word incredible, we have ink, and this is Betty Lou. She wrote her name, Betty Lou, in ink. I'm not afraid of insects that inch along my arm. Some say bugs are icky. I know they mean no harm. So insect starts with I, inch starts with I, and icky starts with I. I have imagination that sets me free to roam to islands that are far away while never leaving home. So imagination starts with I, and islands starts with I. She's imagining she's a pirate. I'm full of big ideas for things I could invent. I may be an inventor or even president. So ideas starts with I, invent and inventor all start with I. I could go on forever, but bragging's impolite, so I'll feed my pet iguana, and then I'll say good night. So impolite starts with I, and iguana starts with I. The end. All right, boys and girls, were you listening for all those I words? There were a lot of them, and some of them were pretty big, so if you don't remember them all, that's okay. All right, first we started off with a little word, I. The letter I is a word. I, the name you call yourself. Okay, so then we had ice skates and ice cream, and we had the word infant, another word for baby. We had the word ink. Betty Lou wrote her name in ink. And then there were some insects that inched along her arm, and they were icky. So insects, icky, and inch. And then she used her imagination, and she went to an island to become a pirate. So imagination and island starts with I. And then she had ideas about inventing things. So ideas, invent, and inventor. Those are all I words. And then at the end, she fed her pet iguana. So iguana starts with I. So there were a lot of I words in our story, and you remembered a lot of them. Good job. Okay, now it's time to look at our uppercase I and our lowercase I. Do they look the same? No, they don't. Let's look at uppercase I first. We have this long straight line coming down, and we have a little line at the top and a little line at the bottom. Long straight line, little line at the top, little line at the bottom. That looks like it might be pretty easy to write. Now let's look at our lowercase I. We have a little line, and then we have a dot. All right, a little line and a dot. Now the dot does not touch the line. There's a little bit of space in here. All right, so make sure when we're making our eyes, you leave that space. So get your Play-Doh and bring it back, and then we'll make some eyes with our Play-Doh. All right, does everyone have their Play-Doh? Okay, let's look at uppercase I. How many lines are there for uppercase I? There's the one long one and two short ones. So 1, 2, 3. So that means we need 3 pieces of Play-Doh. We need one to be a little bit longer and then 2 smaller ones. There's 1, there's 2, and I'll use this bigger one to make my line that comes straight down. All right, roll it out. Make those worms. Make those worms. All right, I think it's long enough. I'm gonna put it right here in the middle, straight line coming down. All right, now I just need to make my 2 little lines. I don't have to roll too much for those little lines. There's 1 and my 1 at the top. All right, there we go. I have my uppercase I. And now we need to do lowercase I. So we don't need very much Play-Doh for lowercase I. We need a little tiny bit for the dot and then a little bit for the line that comes down. So a little line, roll it a little bit. All right, that looks pretty good. And then my little dot. So just make like a little circle, a little ball, and put it on. Now remember, we're not touching the bottom line. We're leaving a little space. All right, so we have uppercase I and lowercase I. Thank you for joining me today, boys and girls. All right, what letter did we learn about today? I, that's right, and I makes 2 sounds. The I sound like ice, and the I sounds like igloo. So ice, igloo, 2 sounds for letter I. All right, we're going to review our other letters that we've learned. I'm going to go in a different order today. I'll hold up the card and you tell me what the letter is. H for hat, hat. G for guitar, guitar. F for fish, fish. E for egg, egg. D for dog, dog. C for cake, cake. B for ball, ball. And last one, A for apple, apple. All right, boys and girls, keep practicing your letters, and until next time, keep on learning.